All right, welcome to Social Distillation, the submarine still of the internet, where we attempt to drive the beat and pour white lightning straight onto your brain. What are we talking about today, Samuel?
Well, this is a bonus episode. We're going to do a quickie here. Uh, and we're going to talk about trust. And I was just telling him right before we started here, the paper I wrote on trust, which unfortunately is not in the computer I have right now. I have to look through thumb drives and stuff, is the one that got me an A in social psych, even though the professor hated me. So, but trust is the I've said this before about sex and relationships. Sex and relationships are like counterintuitive to your own survival. Trust is the other one because you're putting everything in someone else's hands.
So, interestingly, the last couple of days while I've been working out, I've been working my way through the Modern Wisdom episode with Steve Stewart Williams. The title is, I
Yeah, I
believe,
haven't
the
finished that yet. I haven't
the
finished it. Yeah.
uncomfortable science behind sex differences, and he's recently
Really? Because I
published.
thought it was like why men cheat.
I think that
Does
may
he
have been the
have
first one.
multiple? Does he have multiple?
I think that may have been the first time he was
Okay,
on
yeah.
Modern Wisdom. Yeah, but the one from July 6th is the uncomfortable science behind sex differences, which is the book he just published. So he was talking about his new book
Yeah,
on
which I'm probably gonna
the
buy because
data.
I need to read that one. Yeah.
Um, but he kind of makes that point, similar to who's the social psych or the not the social like the evolutionary psych that you like, Dr. Buss.
Dr. Buss. Yeah, 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 yeah,
From a
yeah.
couple months ago when he was on trigonometry, and he talked about the oddities of human sexuality, which this is a small thing but a big thing. Is Dr. Buss made the point that to his knowledge, humans are the only animal that does not have a noticeable cue,
Yes. Okay.
visual
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
cue
Of
when the female
ovulation.
is
Yeah, yeah,
ovulating.
yeah, yeah. So primates, the female will swell in that area and become a bright red in that area. Humans, we have no idea
Mhm.
unless they tell us and their behaviors change. Like
This is,
I've been in
yeah.
relationships, including the current one, where I can tell, okay, yeah, she's probably ovulating right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
But at the same time, there's no visual cue. I just had to learn the person themselves.
I have been married for over 20 years, and eventually I figured out, oh, I think my favorite restaurant is about to be closed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But also, it also depends on the person, because if
Mhm.
they're a very stoic, kind of even-tempered person, you're never gonna know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If they
Yeah.
if they are hyper responsive and emotional, then you might know.
And
And,
this is
and we're not
uh,
talking PMS. We're
no, no,
not
no, no.
being
Yeah,
stupid guys here. We're not talking PMS.
it's
Ovulation
different.
is different.
It occurs before.
Ovulation, yeah, ovulation occurs before, and that means she's ready to get some sperm for her egg, is what it is.
The egg is in position to be fertilized.
Yeah.
So, amusingly, I hadn't even thought about this when we were talking. I was my wife's on a work trip and her flight keeps getting delayed, and I need to nap. And when I need to nap is when it's hardest to nap. So, because she's not getting in till almost midnight, and I'm old. Uh, and so
I
coincidentally,
just picked up the girlfriend from the airport at
yep.
1 in the morning, not that long ago. So,
Have you ever seen the movie Moneyball
long
with
t when it first came out, but I
yeah
can't
with
remember a whole
I
lot
was
about it
wondering
yet.
because of
Yeah.
all the baseball people you train, and I
You
couldn't
know,
sleep
the,
last
the
night.
the sad thing is because I work with athletes all the time, I don't watch a lot of sports.
Mm, mhm. So, much like what I talked about previously with Young Washington, it's very streamlined. It's like the Cliffs Notes version of what actually happened, but at least gives you the idea. And there's this great scene, and it didn't exactly happen like this from what I understand, but it speaks to the philosophy of where Billy Bean came from, which is that he was a bust. He was one of these high draft picks, first round, which For anyone who doesn't know baseball, it's a big deal if you're a first round draft pick in any sport, but in baseball
Prick,
especially,
a draft prick or pick.
potato potato. There are so many draft
Was he the Ryan
clowns.
Leaf of?
He wasn't that bad because he wasn't like the number one pick,
Oh, okay.
but he was picked in the first round by a big organization, the Mets, a big organization with a lot of money, and he didn't pan out. And he was really frustrated by that. And
So
that led
he
him
might be the CJ Stroud as us Houston fans, or
so
yeah.
that led him to, before he became the GM of the Athletics, he went into the scouting program because he was like he was one of these people who was, why didn't I work? Why did the scout who scouted me miss so badly? And there's this scene in the movie where Billy Bean Brad Pitt gets into it with his head scout. And basically what he says is, I not only have been the kid sitting in the room, but I have been with you personally as an assistant scout when you sat down with parents and a high school kid and said, when I know, I know. But the dirty little secret is you don't know. You're guessing.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh,
that's absolutely true.
I've got a kid right now. I've got two kids. They work out together, and I've got more than two kids, but these two work out together. And one of them was just trying to make the high school team, and the other has all the measurables. And we were doing med ball throws the other day, and uh, they're they're both college age, so they're hitting me hard. They're hitting me very, 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 very hard. But the one with all the measurables was hitting me so much harder. But the one who's playing college ball now for UT Dallas is pitching harder.
Hmm.
The one who was hitting me harder is not. But he is a little bit lazier, a little bit sloppier. His priorities are other. I mean, he's a normal dude. He loves to fish and he loves to do these things and all. But his priorities are a little bit different. So even though he had the measurables to be much better, he's behind. Even though it's only 1 year difference between the two of the kids. And one of them, again, just wanted to make the high school team, but his mechanics are on point. His work ethic is on point. Everything is on point. The other one just kind of goes through the motions.
And that's kind of the point of, not just in the movie, but if you listen to scouts in real life, I mean, that's one of the things they'll say is, hey, look, I'm not inside this person's head. I can look at the product on the field and I can make my best guess. And that was the point of Brad Pitt playing Billy Bean in the movie is, look, you're saying I know, but you're just making a really educated guess. And in
Which is how
defense of
we
the scout, the guy's got like 30 years experience in the business. So it's a pretty well educated guess, but it's not certain. It can't be certain.
hmm Yeah, and are we going to take this back to relationships?
No,
Because
exactly. That
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
that's my point.
Because I'm like I'm
This is where it gets
46
so,
years old.
exactly, this is where it
Yeah.
gets so messy in a relationship, because so you're talking about a business prospect here, and you can, and so there are numbers, there's data, like hard data that you can look at for, let's just stick with baseball. Baseball, you have so many games, so many pitches, so many plays. You can collect a lot of data. That's what analytics is all about, and why it
hmm
works so well in baseball and not quite as well in other sports, because you
One
have
of my one
such
of
a
my
large sample
one of
size.
my mentors, Gene Coleman, that's what he did
Mm,
because he was the longest tenure strength coach in baseball history. And 1 year, he was like, "Why are we getting so many hamstring tears at the end of the season?"
mm.
And he started timing people at the beginning of the season versus the end of the season. And when the games were on the line where you're down two or you're up two or whatever, people started running harder.
Mm.
And he was taking that data and he brought that forward to the coaches,
Oh,
the
so
GM and
on
everything.
the
And it's
inverse, the guy who doesn't make it is the guy who's not running harder.
Mhm.
but you can't know that until the moment. Just like if so kind of what sparked this is I asked my wife, I don't have any, I can't find anything to watch. Do you care if I watch this show that we're watching together? She's like, oh no, I've already checked out. I don't care about these people. Just tell me what happens. And I'm watching this Korean dating show and I'm going, and I just have this thought of um what we had teased previously of I don't think my wife, but I don't remember if you said it first or I just said it first. And my wife didn't believe me until the other one confirmed it of we started out being friends. And I only vaguely remember this. It was like
Yeah,
third
no,
or
I
fourth
told you. I
grade.
told you because we
And I was
fought.
like,
We
and I was
fought. It
like,
was fifth grade.
I'm like, is that, wait, what? When? I'm trying to think back of when. And I'm like, and so I knew it was sometime in elementary school. And we got in fights on the playground because we thought the same girl was cute.
Yeah, yeah.
And basically
I
what
don't want to
happened,
say her name, but yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it
and
starts
she
with an
was,
S. Yeah,
and she still is.
she's.
But
What have you seen her? I don't know.
uh, I've seen her on Facebook before, yeah.
Okay,
And
okay.
the
Yeah,
last time I
I
remember, I
haven't
was
looked
like,
her
you
up
know
in
what?
forever. So yeah,
But anyway, basically we realized, you know what, playing on the playground during recess is a lot more fun than fighting, and we became friends. And
yeah,
then I
yeah,
moved away, and then I came back, and
yeah.
I gave
Five
you free
years, I think you
food.
were on, right? Because you
Uh,
went to Heidelberg.
three and a
Yeah,
half, yeah,
three and a half. Yeah,
yeah.
and then you came
And,
back, but
and
I
I
was
gave you free
gone.
food, and then we were
Yeah,
friends.
but I was gone because I was living with my dad at the
Well,
time. Yeah, and
that is
then
part of the story too, because the year before you had been gone, and when you're gone in a small town where basically everyone goes to school together
the town
since
was 600
kindergarten,
people, by the way.
yeah,
If everybody wants to know, yeah,
I believe the class right before us was the first class to have over 100 graduating
I thought it was
seniors.
our class,
It
but
was either
you might be right.
it
Yeah,
was either our class or the class right before
yeah,
us was the first class to have over 100 graduating seniors.
yeah.
And now they have an
No, no,
HEBs,
no.
no
It
big
was
deal.
supposed to be the class before us, but they had three people drop out.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So we were the first class to have 100
So
plus, but yeah.
the reason we bring this up is because for most, I'm going to say most because I assume there are some more masculine women out there who might get this, but
Oh,
my
I train athletes. There are masculine women that will get this. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
but um, but even if they get it, it might take them a minute because I've heard Riley Gaines talk about this because
Yeah, she's a good source.
where did
Yeah.
she go? Kentucky, I think it was.
I
Um,
think you're right. She would. So for people that want to know the background, she was the one who swam against
Leah
the,
Thomas.
Leah Thomas. Yeah, the yeah, whatever his real name is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Not to
so
misgender him.
she has talked about sex differences a lot because she saw it firsthand repeatedly. And one of the ways she saw it even before this Leah Thomas stuff happened is that she was the captain of the women's swim team, and her fiance, now husband, was the one of the captains of the men's swim team. And so they would talk. This is something they had in common, and they would talk about it. And she said it blew my mind how different it was. That
Uh,
if there was a conflict in the men's locker room, her now husband and the co-captain would sit the person down and say, "What the hell, man? Straighten up, square up, do your effing job," and they would do it. And then in the women's locker room, it was okay. Let's all sit down. Let's air things out. Let's come to a consensus, and
This
let's smooth things over.
this is something I can speak to from experience because I have worked with female coaches and male coaches and female teams and male teams. Female coaches who do my job hate working with females because this is what they say. This is what they say every time. I'm going to paraphrase. It's a variation of this every time. Uh, if guys get in a fight at the beginning of the season, they get in a fight, and then when game time comes, they're all on the same team. Female athletes, when they get in a fight, when game time comes, the grudge is still there.
So this all came up a couple of weeks ago when I was talking to my wife as we were watching this, and she was like checked out. She was playing on her phone, and I'm like, "Yeah, you go, dude." And she's like, "Wait a minute, I thought you didn't like that guy." And it's the guy I've referenced before, who was. And at the time, I said, I don't know if he's doing this consciously or unconsciously, but he's essentially running a playbook, much like a pickup artist.
Okay, okay,
And
yeah.
and she eventually noticed this, is like, oh, okay. And this is where I made the comment in reference to Alison Armstrong about you see everyone with teeth as a wolf, which means you don't listen to the sheep dogs because you think they're wolves too. And I
Hmm.
was like, thank you. I know what this looks like because this is me. Um,
Yeah, and the unfortunate part is with some guys is they bought into the pickup artist
mhm.
game and then they become the sheep wolf, the sheep dog instead of the sheep wolf, and then they get their heart broken.
Exactly.
And
I haven't.
they have no idea. I spent 2 hours on the phone actually
Mm,
with a person
yeah.
today uh who was I mean this person the first time I met him he was late to a session because he was a client at the first time and the his workout buddy said oh he was with his 17th person in 20 days
Mm, mhm.
but in the last 3 years he had been loyal to a person and she just completely broke his heart and
That's
it
see, and that's
yeah
the thing is when. So I've talked about this before in the context of Candace Horbox. Chatting with Candace is her podcast, and she talks.
also known as Evolovia if you go to Pornhub.
Sorry, mom. Um, and
Did your mom actually listen to this?
no, I was talking to Mama Sear.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so so she has talked about how when it comes to libido, women are a dimmer switch and men are a light switch. You turn it on, you turn it off, and I've talked about this before. And I hadn't really thought about it when I was talking about that, but then as I was talking to my wife about, no, I'm on this guy's side now. It's because we're a switch. We were fighting on the playground, and then we're like, playing is more fun. Flip the switch the other way.
Yeah, yeah,
The,
yeah.
the switch is flipped. So this guy who was acting like a player, but in hindsight, now that I've seen more of him, I don't think he was. I think this is just how he thought he was supposed to
Well,
act.
no, it was the availability.
That's
That's
the
what it
thing
was.
too.
It
That's the
was
thing too.
everything being thrown at you. It's like a kid that with sweets, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
If you keep putting candy in a kid's face, they're going to keep eating candy.
And that's a good
Ew.
analogy because here in this kind of not real life example of a house full of singles who are looking to connect, he wants to keep his options open, but about halfway through or a little over halfway through the season, the woman he was most interested in essentially gave him an ultimatum and basically said, what is up with you, dude? Are you into me or not? I want you to commit. If you are interested in me, I want you to commit. And he committed like hard.
Hmm.
And in
And
fact,
then she went the other direction.
that kind of made me like her less because she got annoyed that he was. So
Oh,
basically, he.
that's the worst. I can tell you from
Mhm.
experience, that is the worst experience.
So no,
When
no,
they,
no, no.
yeah,
Let
when
me
they,
give you the example and then see what you think.
oh God.
He After they had this conversation, he said, "All right, you're it." And he told her, "There's this other person I've been interested in. There was a third person too." And he had already basically ended it with her. And he said, "I'm going to ask this person out on a date because I need to tell her in person that it's over."
Oh, he made a mistake there. Yeah.
And she got annoyed that he went on a date with someone else, even though she had already said she's also interested in someone else and had was going on a date with him. And I've ranted about the double
Yeah, yeah,
standard with chicks, so we'll
there's
leave that for
no
the moment.
direct example. Yeah. What did they say? History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah, this rhymes so well with my experiences, the person I talked about
mm-hmm,
experience, and you're lucky that you got it good young.
mm-hmm.
It's oh my goodness. There's so
And
much
from the
rhyming
from the
there.
male perspective, if there are any females out there actually listening, we legitimately want to know what you think and why you think it, because from the guy perspective, you gave him an ult. So I was so I've said this
Well,
before. When me and my wife watch these things, she kind of asked me, and there's still a tiny part of my brain that thinks, oh, she's testing me, she's trying to trap you, but I know it's not real. And she's basically asking me hypotheticals of, okay, if you were in this situation, what would you do? Like if I died and you ended up on a show, and what would you do? And I told her that this person in question, this young woman, I was like, I would be most attracted to her because she reminds me most of you when we first met. But the age difference is so much it wouldn't work.
yeah.
But I would have asked her out to protect her from him.
Oh,
But
wow.
when
Wow.
he
Okay. Yeah.
when he committed, I would have stepped back.
Yeah. That's,
And she didn't understand that. And I was like, no, they are more compatible than me and her would be because of our age difference. She just doesn't see it because she's lost in her own mind, and she's not giving him
well,
credit for
co-
what he did, which was, I'm giving you an ultimatum. And she may not have seen it that way, but essentially, I'm giving you an ultimatum. What's your decision? And he chose her. He deserves credit for that.
there's like 80,000 ways I can go with this right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So first of all, ultimatums, right? So if you are committing to a relationship sexually, there is an ultimatum there. There are two ultimatums there.
Let's not
It
say
is
sexually. Let's say romantically, because it doesn't
romantically.
have
No,
to
no,
be
no, no, no.
sexually
No,
yet.
I'm gonna say sex because I'm going lots of different directions. So sexually, there is
Oh, okay.
there are two ultimatums there. I will have sex with you, and you cannot have sex with anybody else.
Mm.
Those are two ultimatums, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah. So then the
Or
other
as we would
ultimatum,
say in the West, don't give away the milk for free, or he won't buy the cow.
yeah, and the other ultimatum is if it comes down to it, and you only have 2 hours a week to spend outside of work and all of those things, at least one of those 2 hours should be with me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's an ultimatum, right? Yeah, yeah, you have friends and you have all that, but I should be number one at least.
I think I've said before, I didn't understand this when my wife and I were first married. I was like, why are you resenting that I'm spending time with my friends doing nerdy gaming things? And I would be busy all week, and then I would spend like the whole Saturday with my friend group running
Yeah, and
D&D
that was wrong.
games. And it
That
wasn't that I was
yeah.
spending, it was how much time I was
Hmm.
spending with them. And
Yeah.
it took a while for that to sink into my brain that that differentiation matters.
Yeah, well, and if I'm with a romantic partner and I'm not having romantic relations with them, but I'm jerking off to Pornhub, there you go. It's the exact same thing, right? Uh,
And I think the reason this matters is something you said, um, or I blurted out and you talked about a bit last time, which is you asked, just name something that interferes with a relationship. And kind of the first thing to pop into my head was trust.
mhm.
And so
It's the number one thing. It's the
as
number
I
one thing. Yeah.
as I was watching this episode, that was kind of in my head. This as I was sitting there trying to nap, which I can't because I suck at sleeping because my brain won't shut up. This kind of have jumped into my head of let me find it what I said to you so I can. All right, so I sent you a message that said, I don't know if it connects to what we're going to talk about or not, but I just had a thought. Women need to know why. If you ask me, hey, do you want to hang out this weekend? And I say, nah, I can't do it. Then you'll probably say something like, cool, let me know when you're free. But a woman might spiral into a negativity mode of thought. So she needs to know why. And then it suddenly dawned on me, wait a minute. No, that's not true. I don't know that this is cross sex mind reading
No,
because,
no, no. It's actually not. So finish your thought.
yeah,
Yeah.
So um so I don't know if this is cross-sex mind reading at all, because even a guy would do that if his girl said it. And as I kind of thought, started working my way through this train of thought, I thought, unless they had connected, so Gable grip here, for anyone who's just listening, remember our conversation about the Gable grip,
Yeah.
is unless you have reached that
Which you got
point
the
where,
right
like,
shirt on for that.
exactly, my
Yeah.
Oklahoma State
Yeah.
shirt.
Yeah.
um because I was using the analogy of you and me as best friends, and then I was like, well, wait a minute, we weren't always like this, but we've reached this point. Me and my wife weren't always like this, but if she says, hey, my flight's delayed, I'm like, okay, cool, crap, all right, I'll try and nap, I'll be there, don't worry, honey, I got you. Some time ago, I might have like, well, what do you mean your flight's delayed? Was it delayed, or did you delay it because something's going on?
Yeah. 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 And that's the whole point because we're back to the point of trust, right?
Exactly.
If you have broken trust, then the things that shouldn't have mattered are going to be important. So if I'm dating a person, which it happens, and she broke trust, and then later on she says, "Oh, I can't be there tonight. I'm canceling plans," or just doesn't show up or whatever, then you're going to start thinking of the first time. And that doesn't matter if it's 4 years later. It's just going to be that little thing in the back of your mind that pops up. And I think we brought this up in the last episode was if you break that trust, you have to do more.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah, to increase the trust for next time. It's again, it's just like losing weight. If you're 400 pounds, you got to do a little extra exercise and dieting to get down to 300 pounds. If you're 300 pounds, then you have to do less. It is exactly what it is. And we're all humans. And
Well,
what
this
people
is the
and this
article
is
I
this is what
I brought
females
up
don't
last time.
understand. This is what females don't understand.
Yeah. So
They're
so
like, I'm working on me. Well, there's someone on the other side of this.
so we've talked about this concept a lot, but the article I brought up from the Federalist about the guy who took his daughter to the farmstead of the Wilders from Little House on the Prairie, and
Hmm.
and he made the point that Pa Ingalls was a flawed man, but he tried.
Hmm.
That's
Well,
the operative
uh,
word.
hold on. Let me get the name real quick. Uh, this is one reason I like this couple that do psychological podcasts. The Terrys, I think it is. Oh shit. I should know this yeah, it's the Terrys. Uh, one of the things that they harp on a lot is it's not that you're perfect, but you at least have to show you're trying. If you show you're trying and they're still not receptive, then that's on them. If you are not trying, then that's on you.
I think we've accidentally brought it full circle to what I wanted to talk about here, because I think the reason cross-sex mind reading is so difficult is because I have a pretty darn good idea when you're trying, because you are also a guy.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we'll go to one that everybody knows, and we've been public about it on here, alcoholism.
Mm.
I have tried to quit over and over and over and over again, and that's why people give me a little space. Had I not been trying to quit, everybody would have left. And I've tried multiple techniques and multiple efforts. I've done AA, I've done hams, I've done everything. I've done psychedelics. We talked about that. Everything under the sun. It's just a really tough thing. But
One
people
of my
give me
favorite
space.
one of my favorite comedians, Dave Landau, has been very open about this, because he was he was a drug addict and alcoholic in high school.
Hmm.
I mean, so that is when he started to realize, oh crap, I've got a problem. And so he's been very open about his journey, his struggle. And he talks about this is that everyone's going to relapse,
Hmm.
and
And it
you're not
doesn't take much.
crucified for relapsing
Yeah.
because your sponsor also relapsed,
Yeah.
and
Well,
he
and
has seen you try, and he has seen you fail, and now he's seeing you try again. And so long as you get back, you stand back up and you try again, come on, buddy, I got you.
yeah, and working in the fitness industry, sugar, man,
Mm.
sugar. I have listened to probably 700, 800 people talk about I was a sugar addict and I walk by a cupcake and I cannot look at anything else but that cupcake. And that's truth. Sugar is more addictive than the other things we're talking about. The most addictive thing is meth by like
Are you sure
1,300
it's not
times.
Mountain Dew? Because that was when I was my fattest, was
Yeah,
Mountain
yeah,
Dew.
Mountain Dew is pretty bad, but that's sugar and caffeine. That's too. Actually, Michael Pollan talks about caffeine. He says because he's always he's experimented with everything. He psychedelics, drugs, meth, everything, and he was like, caffeine was the hardest thing to give up. I did 3 months and it never got better. And so, yeah, it's that's his experience. Personally, I actually haven't had a cup of coffee in maybe 5 days, and I'm a little tired, but I'm fine. But yeah, whatever your poison is, if you're trying, people understand and people can see it. If you're not trying, people treat you like the addict you are.
And I think that may be one of the big problems with cross-sex mind reading is that we don't necessarily, it's hard to recognize when someone of the opposite sex is trying because we
No, yeah,
do it in different
we can with
ways.
substances, but we can't with relationship issues.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's where the trust problem comes in, is because I don't know how you think and I don't know why you think the way you think. So it's hard for me to trust you because I'm not in your head.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's so to the analogy of earlier of scouts and sports is I'm not in your head, so I don't know how hard you're going to try. I don't know how badly you want this. All I can do is look at the numbers
Look
right
at the
in front of me.
behaviors. Yeah, look at the behaviors. Uh, and that's really tough, especially with male to female relationship, because there is so much in the female psyche that needs validation,
Mm,
and they post thirst traps, and especially with social media. Yeah, they post thirst traps. They get dressed up for other people and go out without you and everything, and it makes it really hard on the guy's side. Yeah, yeah, of course we cheat. We do all kinds of stuff. But as we've gone over in previous episodes, maybe in the 100, 150, 160 or whatever, uh, that the numbers are the same, but we all know that that's only probably because us guys have less access. We would probably do it more if girls came to us instead of us having to go to girls. Uh, and so
hmm
when they create a situation where guys are going to be going to them, of course you're going to get jealousy and reactivity, uh, relationship issues, all of that stuff. It's and the other problem is what we talked about recently. Their friends are going, "Yeah, girl, you're strong. You're doing the right thing. You're being powerful." And it's like, are you really? Are you working on yourself by getting attention, or could you be working on yourself by having a relationship? I just don't get it. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, did I
No, no,
derail
no.
us? Yeah, no.
I was just trying to say if I wanted to derail us further, but I don't know if it's derail. But here's an interesting example of this. I was talking about this with my wife. Is I don't remember this when this was. It was a week or two ago. Um, I commented on something and I actually got a comment back, which made me feel good. With Candace Horbox, because she had shared something that was kind of going viral.
Well, let me throw this in here because you keep bringing her up.
Mhm.
I brought up Evolovia, sorry mom, like you said. This was a porn star, and she is more wise on relationships than most people in general. Your religious whatevers, or even she's probably more wise than Jordan Peterson on these things. So I just wanted to throw that in there because you keep bringing her up, and I wanted to make sure everybody knew who she was.
So I was trying to find it and I couldn't find it, but she um shared something that made me laugh and I commented, oh, here it is. Okay, so I finally found it. Um
Do you need me to let you share?
yeah, let's go ahead because I think this is a worthwhile example. And I
Okay.
could
You should be able
um
to share. Okay. I
because
figured it out. I figured out the new interface.
and glad luckily I actually brought this up with my wife and so I got a female perspective on this. So I think I'm going to set this up before I share the picture for anyone who's watching because I'm curious to see your reaction.
It's
Is
not something that's going to get us canceled, is
no,
it?
no, 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 no.
Okay.
So this is someone had shared and commented on a post that was going around, and then she commented on it from the female perspective. I was like, no, yeah, I get it, and here's why. But the original post was someone who was basically sharing his fitness journey, quote unquote, and it was January, 168 pounds. And this person looked like what I thought people meant originally when I heard the phrase dad bod, and I didn't realize what they meant. And I was thinking basically they meant people like us, like someone who looks like they lift, but they also like beer and nachos,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It look like
So
you lift, but like tacos. Yeah, yeah. That's
so
it.
they
Yeah.
have muscles, but they're not shredded. They have some definition, but they also have a little chub. Okay. So that was January when this person, I have no idea what height they are, so I don't know exactly how to how to conceptualize this, but 168 pounds isn't a lot of weight. And then they showed
If
July
if
100,
if their average male in the US 5'9", 168 would be like right on point.
and
Yeah.
then they show a picture, and right on the side is July 141 pounds. And they look like they're about to do a photo shoot for Muscle and Fitness magazine.
148,
41.
41.
So 27 pounds lost in 7 months. All right.
Well, there's two ways to do that. You get sick or you get a divorce.
The
That
AIDS diet. Anyway, I don't recommend that. So her comment, Candace's comment was women are so hard to understand, so elusive, so mysterious. No, dummy, you just don't listen to her when she tells you what she wants. Nearly all women prefer the left. No explanation needed. Glad we could end this debate. Well, okay, sorry, but no, not exactly, because it's not that simple. It might not be complicated, but it's not simple. And so let me share this picture so you can see exactly what she's talking about. And again, you see the picture on the left, it ain't some fat slob. He's just not super defined. And then on the right is someone who, again, looks like he's about to do a photo shoot for a muscle magazine. He's quite shredded. Okay.
hmm
And
Yeah, but on
my
the left is not dad bod. I mean,
it's what I
that's
thought.
actually a decent physique.
It's what I thought dad bod was when I first heard the term. And then I
hmm
found out, oh, that's not what that means.
Yeah.
Right. Um, my comment was cross-sex mind reading at its finest. Guys think the right looks awesome because they know how much work it takes. So they assume chicks must dig it. Same but different with women striving for a career and then confused or mad when the guy picks the right waitress because she's pretty and nice, because that's what they care about. Just because, ladies, what you care about is the career, the drive, the effort, the provider. That doesn't mean that's what women care about. And then I, so she made a comment about how study after study proved the whole waitress lore is false. Men pick their class equivalent, especially the wealthier high class men, not caring about a woman's status or intelligence is very low IQ, low income behavior, which is a fair point. Um, and so I clarified that the point was to illustrate, not to be literal, that I was riffing on Dr. So's work from Sextinction,
Hmm.
that we have different priorities. So a guy who already looks pretty good thinks, no, 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 I need to spend even more time in the gym. It's something we've kind of teased about, which is, oh, unbalanced work is good. So I should do everything on the Bosu ball and do Bosu ball jump squat clean and jerks. Oh God, no, stop that. And I used to use that as a joke, and then I actually saw someone doing it and I had to stop using it as a joke because it broke my soul a little bit. Just because a thing is good doesn't mean overdoing that thing is better. And so my wife's analogy was, when I showed her this post and told her about it in my comment, she said, so essentially this is why I say the Candace's point of no debate needed. No, 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 you need to expand the point, because my wife's point was, all right, think about it this way. Do you really want a woman who spends 3 hours getting ready for a date? You might like the end product, but do you want to live with that? Because that's what a woman sees when she sees the picture on the right of the guy who spent 7 months going from in shape to being shredded. Is how high maintenance is that, and how much time is he going to spend with me versus spending on himself?
I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, and I think I have a good argument. Uh, give me a second to formulate this thought. If it had been in the reverse order, it probably would actually hit harder
Mm.
in the right direction. Because had he gone through that process, got shredded like that, and then ended up with the what I think was actually a good physique on the left, you could look at it and say, you know what, this guy can do what needs to be done at the time, but he also realizes what's healthy in the long run. So if it had gone in the reverse order, I actually could make a good argument because I'm saying this from a very biased position because I've done it. I've been 6% body fat before, and it was miserable. It was absolutely miserable. But I can say I did. And I could say I did the hard work. And then at the end of the day, I got healthy after that. And, even to this day, with health problems and all kinds of stuff, I still got a better physique than most guys. Even it's, it,
This is why
I would say
this
my physique is probably what that guy is on the left. Yeah, it
right.
is.
That
Yeah,
that's why I said, like us, guys who work out a lot but also like beer and nachos.
yeah.
Um, but this is why communication is so important, something we've harped on and may talk about more next time, because it's how you establish trust. Because if you communicate and you do it enough to where the other person realizes, oh, they are being fully honest with me. Because again, much like the athletic scout, you can look at all the numbers, you can look at what is in front of your face, but you can't ever be inside that person's mind. So at best, you are making a very well-educated guess,
Hmm.
but it's still a
And the
guess.
measurables aren't always right.
Exactly.
Because
And
when the Houston Astros won the World Series, Dallas Keuchel was pitching 78 miles an hour.
there is a, I don't remember who came up with this. I know Reagan used it, but I don't know who came up with it. Is there are lies, there are damned lies, and then there are
And there are
statistics.
statistics. Yep.
So statistics can't fool you, especially if you want them to fool you, right? And we want to be fooled because we need that connection with other human beings.
Hmm. Well, and statistics are useful, but at the
Mhm.
same time, you have to put them in context.
You need to be able to step back and say, all right, but what does this mean?
What does this mean? Yeah. Yeah.
And and and
And
and so
and it's really tough because you have to understand things like uh R ratios and effect sizes and all of that stuff because something like, oh, this is statistically significant result, but the effect size is almost nil. Statistically significant means it can be repeated.
mhm.
So it could be uh, fuck, I'll just throw a weird one out. Penis size, point 0.05% difference between one population and another. In bed, you're not going to feel the 0.05% difference. But if it can be repeated, it's significant, but it has no magnitude. It has no effect size. So you have to really diagnose these things. And unfortunately, that takes some education and honesty on the researcher's part because sometimes they get a significant difference and they hide the magnitude so they can publish a paper.
uh well, a more inconsequential one is bacon, what you have mentioned
Oh
brought up a
yes,
few times
bacon,
because it's such a
bacon. Yeah, yeah.
ridiculous.
What was it? 2% higher chance of causing colon cancer,
Mhm.
but that was 2% of the point oh something
I think it
percent.
was oh, so
Point oh
it was
oh. So yeah, it's
uh
hundredths of a percentage chance
right.
of
So
causing
so
colon cancer.
2%. Oh,
Yeah.
whoa, that's a big deal. That makes me
Yeah.
go
That's
from
that's
one in
two
a
out of a
hundred to one
hundred,
in
right?
50.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is oh well, yeah, hold on a second. But your baseline was already so, so let me give it an example that I brought up to my PA when I was talking about sleep medications is I used to use Benadryl because I have allergies anyway. So I was like, you know what? Benadryl makes me drowsy. I'll take a couple of Benadryl. It'll help me breathe and it'll help me get to sleep. And then the studies came out showing a correlation, not a causation, but a correlation between Benadryl and dementia.
Mm.
I have a family history on my father's side, which since I'm a male, which isn't supposed to matter, but it does, is more important. I have
Yeah,
a
because you
family
don't have a
history.
recessive, because you only have one side. Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
family history on my father's side of dementia and Alzheimer's. So that is a big effing red flag to me. Okay, I'm going to find something else to take because I'm not taking Benadryl anymore. But now something like the Bacon study, no one in my family that I know of has ever had colon cancer. I don't care. I'm eating bacon. It's effing delicious, right? That's my choice. I'm able to make that evaluation based on the risk reward analysis. Okay. If if you don't understand the context, you cannot make that distinction. You cannot
Mhm.
make a good educated
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah,
So you
and
know what?
that's
I
it.
don't think bacon's going to affect me that much. I don't think bacon's going to affect me that much, and I like it because it's delicious. But I can find something else to take to help me get to sleep. So let me go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Well, and again, you're looking at when they say 2% increase, it's the percent of the original percent. It's
Mhm.
not the percent total. So out of 100 people, it's not 2% more. Out of 100 people, it's whatever the original percentage was, which was like 0.001 or something, is now 0.0012. It's it's
So bring it back and kind of trying to find a way to wrap it up. I think this is why I keep wanting to harp on cross-sex mind reading ever since you brought up the term to me, is because if you don't understand this concept, even if you don't know this concept, you might not understand it yet. But if you don't even know it, you can't make a distinction, and you can't make a good evaluation of your own situation.
hmm
And so you and I can suddenly decide on the playground as elementary schoolers that, hey, you know what, playing on the playground is more fun than fighting on the playground. Let's be friends. And we can do that because on at least a subconscious level, I know that you think, if not the same, at least similar to how I do. But I think we played that clip of Allison Armstrong a little while ago of why don't men treat why don't men react the same way when women tease them as when men tease them?
Yes, we did, yeah.
Yeah, because when men tease each other, they're sparring. All right, they're getting
Well,
the wooden
the
sword
her
and the
main
shield,
point
and
was
they're going at
our
each
guard
other.
is up.
Exactly, our guard is already up
Yeah.
because we're men. We need someone we can put that shield down and say, hey, this is really how I'm feeling.
hmm
And if you don't understand that, then you can't understand why your partner or even person you're interested in acts differently around her girlfriends or his guy friends than when they're with you. It's because you matter more.
hmm
And you are more of an enigma, because no, I can't ever be inside your head, barring some weird sci-fi technology. But I can have a pretty good guess because we have lived enough similar lives, and we have had enough similar interests, and we're both dudes. I'm more confident in my educated guess with my best friend than I am with my wife, who I've been married to for over 20 years.
Yeah, and I'm going to take that a step further as my closing thought here is give me a second. I need to uh one thing that needs to be understood is you might not agree with what your partner does, but you can agree on what the goal was.
Mm,
And we both bring different ways of thinking to the table. So
yeah.
if I come in and I have a solution to a problem and we're going to do something, or even I say, you know what, honey, you're being self-defeating at this point. You don't have to agree 100%, but you can at least listen. And the same the other way around, you know, because they're going to bring a different perspective because we have different perspectives of men and women. And that's why it works. And I think that's that. You know what? If I ever get to that point where I'm the person who's dancing the last at a wedding because of how long you've been married, which it probably not going to happen because I'm already 46 and single. But if I ever get to that point, that's going to be my advice is you bring different perspectives to the table and you should listen to each other. You don't have to always agree, but at least listen.
Mhm.
And I think that left, left, right, man, woman, black, white, Mexican, whatever, anything that changes us, that's the message, I think.
You know what? I'm into that. That's a good place to leave it off because, again, whether you're talking about a romantic partner or just a friend or just a freaking neighbor, you know what? You know what, man? I don't agree, but I know you are a good and decent human being. And so I know that you're coming at this issue with a good heart.
Mm-hmm.
and that you have at least to some degree thought it through. So, all right, you know what? Agree to disagree.
Or
You do
agree,
what you
agree
think you have to
or
do.
agree to try the other person's perspective.
Or that. Yeah, walk
Yeah.
walk a mile in his moccasins. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'll hopefully our rambling and yelling at the clouds here has helped clarify this issue, but also open the the mind to, oh, that's why that other perspective is so freaking important, because we think so different sometimes, and we
Mm-hmm.
need that, as I said last time, we need that yin and yang to balance ourselves out.
Yeah, we've been talking male female because there is so much difference between the brain
Mhm.
of those. Uh, in opposition to the current narrative, there is so much difference between those, but it's everybody.
Yeah.
I grew up different than you, so we have different perspectives.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just the way it is.
And it is important to have those perspectives, because we can encounter different things of, well, wait a minute, how do I do this? Oh, well, my dad taught me to do it like this. Okay, well, that sounds good. Let's try it like that. Or,
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's the thing. My grandfather was a good influence, but your dad was also a great influence on me, and it was a different influence.
mhm.
It was completely, I wouldn't say completely different. He was a lot like my grandfather, but it's
They both grew up on dirt farms.
yeah, pretty much. But my real dad was actually an influence on me because he wasn't all bad.
Mm.
He did a lot of bad things, but he wasn't all bad. And so I try to like really analyze his life and say, you know what? I can do a little bit like that. That's cool.
Here's a thought that we might talk about next time. We might get churchy next time because you've just prompted a thought. I've
Uh-oh.
referenced this before, and I find this very interesting. In the Bible, you are told to love your neighbor as yourself and to even love your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
You are only told to respect your mother and father. Why is that? I think there's something very interesting to that, and especially for people who have grown up with really terrible parents. Why do you still respect them?
The good,
Because there's something to
yeah,
learn there.
that's a good topic. I'm
So,
gonna have to think. I'm gonna have to think about that one.
so
Yeah.
we might talk about respect versus love and why it matters. And
Yeah,
because
and
it
and
is,
and can you get the direct translation on what the word respect was
yeah,
there?
I'm gonna pull up Dennis Prager. He's really good at
Yeah.
explaining the biblical Hebrew to English speakers, because he is a native English speaker, but he also understands the biblical Hebrew. And because it's hard. It is hard to love people sometimes when they have hurt you. Um, but
Well,
I sometimes
let's
feel
let's
like it
go to
might be harder to respect them.
let's go to the Jehovah's Witness,
Mm,
right? Because they follow to a T the uh as Caesar.
yeah.
What's the line? Yeah, as Caesar.
Render unto God what is God's, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They follow that to a T. So that is why they're completely apolitical
Mm,
because they're just like, okay, well, it's respect for your nation, it's respect for the place you live. And if we're persecuted, we'll leave. But if we're not, then we'll just live by the law. And yeah, that's a good subject, I think.
all right. Well, we will ramble about that next time and see what the filthy heathen and the Bible thumping Christian has to say on that. And
I'm not
anything y'all think in the
filthy. I'm a
comment.
heathen, but I'm not filthy. I,
Yeah,
I
you
take
shower.
two
You're fine.
showers a day.
And if anyone out there has thoughts on it, or has contemplated this or heard things on this from a pastor or a theologian, let us know, and we'll dig into that as well. So we'll see y'all next time.
All right. Later, everyone.